College football programs can change directions in a hurry. Our case example for the day, Arkansas and Missouri. Welcome to the Voice of College Football, breaking down the game we all love each and every day with you, and especially on this rivalry weekend. Mizzou squashes the Hogs 48-14. I don't know if the game was really that close. Arkansas gave a vote of confidence this week to its head coach, Sam Pittman, who was doing such good things as of just a couple seasons ago, even into last season, winning a bowl game to finish at 7-6. But a woeful 4-8 season for Arkansas. Even worse than that, just one win for the Hogs in the SEC. And yes, lifeless and trounced by Mizzou today by 34 points. It was 41-0 before Arkansas got on the scoreboard. If Mizzou needed to hold them to nothing, they probably could have today. There was no comparison between the two football teams. And we talk about Sam Pittman and the work he did at Arkansas. Well, took over a bad football program that was losing to the likes of Toledo and North Texas and Western Kentucky and Colorado State from Chad Morris that had gone 0-4 the SEC in 2 years. And Sam Pittman, bam, 9-4, top 15 finish, and a bowl win over Penn State just 2 years ago. What was Mizzou doing at the same time? 6-7 that particular season under Eli Drinkwitz with an upset loss in a bowl game against Army. But much has changed since then. Mizzou, a top 10 team right now, finishing a 10-2 year, its first 10-win season since going back to Gary Pinkel's days 10 years ago when the Mizzou Tigers first made its way to the SEC. Brady Cook, a fine quarterback, didn't need to do much on this day. Let his defense and his running game do most of the work. And also that guy is Cody Schrader. What a run he's been on. And the story was told at the beginning of the football game about him being a lowly regarded prospect despite amassing ridiculous numbers in high school. No Power 5 program looking at him, a walk-on at Mizzou. And when does a walk-on become a starting running back in the SEC, let alone a star running back in the SEC? More on Cody Schrader in just a second. Mizzou came out and dominated from the opening snap. Arkansas's defense did well to get off the field a few times, but 23 plays to 8 make it 25-8, 142-23 rushing advantage as Mizzou jumped out to a 10-0 lead. KJ Jefferson, one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, has had a horrendous year with injuries and the team falling down apart around him. Only threw 2 passes, completed both of them, and then he went hobbling to the sideline with a knee injury, went into the tent, never returned. So Jacoby Criswell was saddled with the unenviable position of trying to mount anything against this Mizzou defense that has been a wrecking crew as of late. Criswell went 12 of 20 for 96 yards for Arkansas's woeful offense. Arkansas got its first down with 14 minutes left in the first half on a penalty. Missouri was actually missing 2 of its best players on defense. Tyron Hopper, who's amassed over 200 tackles in his career with 29 tackles for loss, and also Chad Bailey, 140 tackles in his Mizzou career with 17 tackles for loss. Hopper's out for the season, unfortunately for the Tigers. Bailey should be back for the bowl game. Little fracas near the end of the first half between Arkansas and Mizzou down near the goal line. Knocked out what is arguably Mizzou's top offensive lineman in Armand Membo, and also on the defensive side, Zach Williams and Eric Gregory, as frustrations flew and boiled over, and that was that. It was a 20-0 game at halftime. It was just a demolition from there. Arkansas, get this, in the first half, they had 6 punts. They had a fumble lost. They had 0 plays in Missouri's territory. And then on the third play of the second half, strip sack that led to a Missouri touchdown. Brady Cook was knocked out for 1 play. Fortunately, he came right back in. Eli Drinkwitz is calling this thing a rivalry, and Arkansas fans would say otherwise. But man, Drinkwitz and Mizzou having the best of this. This Missouri program, I was calling for Drinkwitz to be on the hot seat going into this year. He was 17-19, 13-15 in the SEC, and consider that Barry Odom, his predecessor, had much better numbers, significantly better, at least over 500, and he was let go. Now he's tearing it up at UNLV, but Mizzou happy that it's held on to Eli Drinkwitz. Brady Cook went 12 for 20 with 2 touchdowns. Cody Schrader, oh my goodness, this is crazy. The run that he's on right now, 27 carries for 217 and 2 touchdowns. He's now run for just under 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns on the season. Cody Schrader in the last 5 games against the SEC, 159 yards rushing, 112, 205, 148, and this 217 spot. Luther Burden, many of you remember him as a 5-star wide receiver that was a prize gem in that recruiting class for Eli Drinkwitz. 6 catches for 55 on this day, but he was little used or little needed on this day. 83 catches for almost 1,200 yards for Mizzou. The defense had 4 sacks and 12 tackles for loss, led by Chuck Hicks with 3.5 TFLs. Bowl projections for Mizzou, a 10-2 football team that played Georgia within 9 points, hung in the entire way in Athens, also demolished Tennessee by 4 scores, beat Kansas State on a 61-yard field goal. Projections right now, according to ESPN, CBS Sports, and others, possibly a Peach Bowl date against either Penn State or Tulane, Cotton Bowl against Texas or Oregon if they miss the playoffs, Fiesta Bowl against Washington, also a possibility. So Mizzou football, as it appears right now, on the rise, looking for 11 wins for the first time since they first entered the SEC. Actually, those teams lost bowl games, so they didn't win 11 games. But for Arkansas, back to the drawing board, and Sam Pittman, again, he has been assured of his job in 2024, but he will have to turn it around in a hurry. Losing KJ Jefferson, Rocket Sanders, their great running back who had a stellar season the last 2 years, missed most of this season. You would think that he will be off to the NFL as well. Your thoughts about Mizzou football in Arkansas as well? Those Missouri Bowl prospects, how do you think about some of those matchups? Penn State, Texas, Oregon, Tulane? Sounds pretty good. All right, Mizzou and Arkansas. We talk up a rivalry weekend like nobody else right here at the Voice of College Football.